Hi everyone, welcome to J&D Gardens. Today I want to talk to you about a question I'm always asked about is, what do I do with my old potting soil? Now, be honest, does this look familiar to you? All kinds of pots around your property, halfway filled from soil from old plants, or maybe a plant that just didn't make it, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna deal with this later, and you throw it down behind the garage, and you forget about it. Or maybe a seedling tray that none of the seeds made it, and it grew some kind of mold on the top, and your first inclination is, I'm just gonna throw it out. But before you do that, if you have a compost pile, I would consider throwing it in there first, because you never want to throw dirt away with the general garbage. But since it is a potting mix or a starter mix and you paid for it or you made it yourself, you might want to consider reusing it. Now I know you're saying, well, I don't want to reuse this, it has mold on it, and it can affect the rest of my plants. And yes, it could. But I'm not talking about just reusing it. By reusing, I mean we're going to want to sterilize it. And the way we sterilize it here at J&D is we bake it in the oven. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but what baking in the oven does, gets it up to a temperature of about 180 degrees, and it'll kill off any bad bacteria or mold or any insects that might be in there that you don't want. And then after that process, what we do is we like to screen it out, get any of the big materials out, and if needed, we'll throw in a little bit of perlite and or vermiculite. So first thing we do is we get a tray, like a lasagna tray. And then we'll fill it up with the soil. And we'll deal with that later. Okay. So you don't have to fill it up to the top, but I find I want to get a lot done because I actually have a lot that I have to do. If you fill it up to the top, what I find, if you bake it at 400 degrees for about 2 hours, it should kill off anything. Now, you'll want to get a lid for this, and I probably should have straightened this out before I started the video, but that's okay. Put this on. You want to put on the lid nice and tight. And what I do is, for the 2 hours that it's cooking, about an hour and a half in, I like to take off the lid and let off any of the moisture and then really dry out the soil and just do the last work on it. So let's take this to the oven and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so we got our tray out of the oven and the soil is nice and sterilized. The next step you want to do is run it through the sifter. Now, you've seen me use this before. It's a regular old box sifter with an 8-inch screen. So what I'll do is I'll take the soil, dump it in there, and I'm just gonna keep working it in. And then get all the, here we go. All the rocks and or twigs or any big material that we don't want in our reused in the potting mix. And before you know it, you can have nice, fresh, fluffy soil. And if need be, you can amend it with a little more perlite and vermiculite. Not sure how much, just a little bit, because I can still see the old one. And if you felt that it wasn't good enough, you might want to just add a little fresh compost. That always helps everything out. But yeah, this stuff, whoa, really looks, really looks great. So anyway, so before you think about throwing out your old potting mix and throwing it in the compost pile, just think about sterilizing it. It can save you a lot of money and definitely you can just keep reusing it over and over again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and be sure to hit like and subscribe. Until next time, remember, yes we can.